Season 1, Episode 14. This week on RebelRebel, I sit down with brand alchemist, digital Jedi, and creative rebel David Schmeikal of Brand's Truth Incorporated. We get talking about hunting unicorns, virtual reality, starting a bed and breakfast in Germany, and helping businesses find and fly their freak flag. David is one of those kick-ass disruptors who doesn't understand the word quit. He runs a sweet podcast about getting your shit together, loves the Tribe Called Quest, and found his calling in the creative space helping businesses share their story with the world. Like those great books, David is off choosing his own adventure. I'm your host, Michael Dean Dargy, Season 1, Episode 14, Brand Alchemist and Digital Jedi on RebelRebel. Welcome to the RebelRebel podcast. I am sitting here with David Schmeikal. We are in the Kensington studio with the construction happening yet again next door. David, how the hell are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I've been looking forward to sitting down and shooting the shit with you on the podcast.
Awesome. We've got some amazing beer here as well. We have Common Crown Blonde Ale.
This is a fantastic beer. It's like right up my alley. I'm not a fan of a very hoppy, dark beer. I'm a bit of a, I guess you could call me a snob or maybe just
particular.
Very particular.
Yeah.
I will not explore. I've tried it and I'm like, ugh, this is horrible and I don't like it. So I just stick with this stuff.
That's good. Yeah, I like the dark beers. I don't like the hoppy ones. But this one, I haven't tried Common Crown yet.
Me either. I didn't even know they were around. So that's awesome.
We have a huge glut of local craft beers, like in and around Alberta. Like it's insane. I was saying in another podcast, my buddy owns Fitzsimmons Brewing company up in Airdrie. They make amazing beer, and now this Common Crown, and there's like a dearth of them, and I can't wait to try them all.
Yeah, totally. Great excuse.
Yeah, absolutely. So you are a rebel to your very core.
Absolutely.
And I mean, you do a variety of different things. You know, you've got a podcast, which is super cool and very vulnerable. Like you kind of peel the flat back. And
on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like, really? Did we pull it back on that one?
Yeah.
That was uncomfortable.
Yeah. So that's really cool. And you're also, a head brand dude at the Rivet Collective, which is awesome. And
AKA Brand is Truth. We are actually evolving and elevating and rebranding ourselves.
Love
so
that.
Brand is Truth Incorporated is
nice.
the new entity in the world.
Yeah.
And I am the Brand Alchemist. And
that is a great
unproclaimed
title.
digital Jedi inside the collective. Yes, that's my standing title.
Digital Jedi.
Yeah.
And Brand
Alchemist.
Alchemist, I love it.
Yeah.
God, that's brilliant. And is that actually on your card now?
It is. It's always been.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, so many questions. How did you get to where you are? I mean, here you are, digital Brand Alchemist and Digital Jedi. How did you go from a wee boy to
the Padawan?
The Padawan.
Oh man, it's been quite a journey, and I'm actually I'm telling that story. This is just a bit of a sidebar, like self plug here a little bit.
Plug it up.
In November, I'm telling that story in a very unconventional way at a Creative Mornings talk.
At a what, sorry?
Creative Mornings.
Mornings.
Have you not heard of Creative Mornings before?
No.
Oh my God. As a creative, you should know about Creative Mornings.
I feel suddenly so far away.
Yeah, totally. Michael, we're over here, man.
Oh, my people.
Yeah. So Creative Mornings, just not to go off too far on a tangent, but it's a global thing. Like it's all over the world.
Oh, wow.
And it is a creative talk. AKA TED Talk type thing.
Love it.
20 minutes about a particular topic.
Yeah.
And the topic is global.
No.
So everybody speaks on the same topic everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, it's really cool. So the one in November, and it happens every 2 weeks at the C Space in South Calgary here. So mine is on the context of restart as a theme.
Yeah.
And that's in November. And so I touch on my story right from Padawan stage to where I'm at now, and covering all the milestones that I went through. It's been an interesting exercise to go through that process.
I'm sure.
Actually.
Give me some highlights.
Well, so I started in a rather tight religious society.
Okay.
I was a Jehovah's Witness for a large portion of my life. I am not a practicing witness anymore. I have no issues with the faith or the people inside of it. They have good intentions. It just didn't fit for me.
Right.
There was something missing, and a lot of unanswered questions, or an unwillingness to answer the questions.
Right. That would drive any creative soul nuts.
Yeah, it was just a groundswell of just being unsatisfied with the answers that I was given. And so I packed up my bags and I moved to the West Coast.
Oh.
And
My home away from home.
Yeah, I lived in Vancouver for 15 years. And that's where I started the journey of trying to figure shit out.
Nice.
It is not easy to figure shit out.
No.
Especially when you have no idea what exactly you're trying to figure out.
Right. What is the shit?
Yeah. Other than there's something to be figured out. So there was a lot that happened, transpired over the course of that time. I had a brain tumor. I had a brain tumor 2001. Had it removed the following year.
Oh,
that was pretty.
Crap! I saw the pictures on your Instagram.
Yeah, that was a pretty disruptive moment in my life.
No shit.
It happened the day before September 11th.
You're kidding me.
So the whole world kind of went into a chaotic spin.
Wow. Like your operation was that day, or you?
No, that's when I found out. Oh, so the day before.
Oh my God, man!
I woke up in the hospital, like all this craziness, a bit delirious, wondering what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
And then the next day, as I'm hanging out at my girlfriend's house, like World Trade Center shit is happening on the TV, and I'm going, what the hell? So that was pretty crazy.
So wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy crap.
That was an interesting moment in life. I'm very fortunate. One of our guest speakers on our podcast, Leona Devin. I don't know if you're familiar with her.
No.
Man, she has got a crazy story inside of that. There's 22. I forget the term of it now. Essentially, 22 tumors in her family, surgeries.
Holy crap.
She carries 8 of them herself.
What?
Yeah, her son has a bunch of them.
Brain tumors?
Or all over the body.
Jesus.
She's got 4 in her brain, I believe.
Wow.
An incredible woman.
Yeah.
And the difference between me going through that time in my life and truly being lost already, like I really didn't know what I was doing, and now having to manage this wellness thing and all the concerns of that showed up.
Yeah.
At the time before the surgery, I went through 2 surgeons. The first one was like, "You're going to be a vegetable, so get ready. You're going to be a vegetable." And I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, fuck.
Needless to say, we went for a second opinion.
Yeah.
I was not satisfied with that answer, and then we worked with Dr. Toyota. He's very well known and painted a very different picture.
Interesting.
Of what my future would look like.
What kind of, and I don't want to dig into this too much, but like what kind of tumor? Like how did you find out? And like,
I have no idea the information on the tumor. I can't retain that information. Won't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe something going on there. Deep psychological trauma. Who knows?
That's fair.
How it happened was I had a grand mal seizure at work.
Wow.
And
have you ever had one before?
I had things going on over the course of my life before I moved even to Vancouver. My eyes would kind of turn off, and I just wouldn't see anything. They just go black.
Holy shit.
You can imagine how that might go while you're driving.
Yeah,
it's not a good thing to happen while you're driving, and it happened a couple times, and nobody could figure out why. They had me on all sorts of weird medicine, and there was just really no remedy to it. And then that happened.
Wow.
And then at that point they found the tumor.
Yeah.
And that was that. So almost bit through my tongue. That muscle, like when you just do a minor bite with your tongue, it hurts.
Yeah.
And just a simple thing of like drinking water or something is painful. Just imagine what it's like when you've almost bit through it.
No.
It's pretty brutal. So yeah. So that's how that happened. And then in terms of life moving forward from that point, I ended up dabbling in in creative and design, but not very seriously. I didn't really have a strong foothold when I was younger, when I was still here. I didn't get into ACAD, and I made that mean everything, about my capabilities and skill set out of high school. And so I didn't really pursue it anymore.
Right.
I got really resigned about it. And then an opportunity to run a bed and breakfast in Germany showed up. It's crazy how that happened. It didn't actually happen that way. We were actually going there. So my background, my family's, they're all from Germany.
Yeah.
And my mom's brothers, they're all in Germany. And one lived in the small town called Alf.
Okay.
Like the Alien. 500 people. We dropped in and we were aliens.
Yeah.
Like, who were these people? These random people that do not fit with how things operate here.
Wow.
And our whole reason for being there was to set up this bed and breakfast. It was a gesture of goodwill from my dad's side, which ended up kicking him in the ass. To help my mom's brother create some sort of support structure for life, create some employment and full of good intentions.
Right.
And so we all went there and we helped set up this bed and breakfast. And my youngest brother and I, we went out there and we were going to stay out there for about a year. Really to travel. That was the opportunity.
Yeah, and what an opportunity.
Yeah, it was super cool, and it was the perfect time in my life. I had my girlfriend at the time and I we had broken up, and I was really grappling with finding my identity. That was still very cloudy for me. I didn't know who I was in the world, and so it was a good thing to distract me. Keep my mind on something else. And so we set up this bed and breakfast. We had it open. I started to dabble in communications and marketing, and we set up a website and online booking. This was in 2007.
Nice.
So things were still kind of like they're not certainly the way they are now in terms of technology and what's available.
Yeah, so easy now.
Yeah, so easy. It was a bit of a pain in the ass back then.
I mean, it's so hard.
It's so hard. You need to hire us.
Money.
Yeah. Disclaimer. So we did that, and it went pretty good until it didn't.
Yeah.
And that came near the beginning of the launch, where my uncle started to demand things from my mom, and my dad is like, okay, so you need to pay us a salary to run this place, and we're like, WTF? This is your salary.
Right.
Or did you miss the point here?
Yeah.
Like, you have this available to you. You need to be responsible for rent and utility, all that stuff. And then whatever you earn outside of that is yours.
Right.
Right? Like, I got it, and I wasn't even entrepreneurial at the time. And so it caused this huge rift.
Oh, boy.
It was crazy. Like, he almost assaulted my mom at one point, and it got really messy really quickly, which is so unfortunate.
Yeah.
And he fucked it up big time, right? Like, that could have been a cash cow for him.
No kidding.
It was a cash cow for us.
Yeah.
And we were not there, and we were not committed.
Right.
So we ran it for a year.
Some people just don't see the vision, though, right?
He had no vision. No vision at all. And we didn't really have the vision either, nor did we want to. Like, the small town, 500 people, it was not like my tempo of lifestyle that I was looking for.
Yeah.
At what was it, like my mid-20s. So we ran it for a year. We did a successful job of it.
Yeah.
And I traveled to Europe a little bit, hung out in Barcelona with my buddy from Australia. Like, it was just a real cool catalyst.
That's awesome.
of opportunities, new ideas.
And a great way to see the world and, get that exposure.
Yeah, absolutely. And in particular from my brother. So he's my youngest brother, and he had not experienced very much in his life. He was only at that point really starting to figure out that the organized religion wasn't for him.
Oh, okay.
And he didn't really know what to do with himself.
Right.
And so I was effectively the black sheep of the family.
Attaboy.
Maybe there was horns of some sort that were coming out at some point, or the perception of it,
Yeah.
bad influence, and totally opened up his world.
Right. Good for you.
Yeah. And he that was a catalyst moment for him as well, just to see what's possible, and not to like, hey, to do all these drugs, and it's not that. It's just like,
I get it.
this is what's possible.
Yeah.
And it's actually not in that box that you were playing inside of.
Interesting.
So that was also a very key milestone for me, and triggered now my a renewed passion for communications.
Yeah.
And so when I came back to Vancouver, I dug in, and I took some upgrading at Langara there. It was a 1-year intensive program. I got a lot out of it, and really refined and honed those skills that were incubated for a little while.
Yeah, cool.
That's where I met Maya, my wife, and my partner in business. We've been married we're coming up to 10 years now, and have been a partner in business for the same time. Actually, a little bit longer, because we were working while we were in school.
That says an awful lot about the strength of that relationship.
Yeah, what's super interesting is how many people say, I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
And I come at it with, I don't know how I couldn't.
Right.
Because if I can't get along with my wife at that level,
Yeah. Why am I
then
married?
the partnership is there's something, not that it's got to be perfect. I get we all, we've got our clashes.
Of course.
But then there's something else that you got to address and you got to look at, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been part of our evolution and our growth. And we started our little studio. It was out of our place in the West End, and we quickly realized we had no business development experience. We have no idea how to run a business.
Yeah.
At that point, I was not comfortable speaking with people. Most people who take on the marketing role as an occupation do that because they're not good at that.
Yeah.
That's been my experience so far. And so, I would go to events, and I would walk in, and I'd be having a mild panic attack inside, and wouldn't speak to anybody, and just walk out again, right? That was my marketing back then. It was brutal, man. It was so brutal.
Oh, I know that story so well.
Oh, I'm so glad that that was actually just a big bullshit rule that I created, that I had it, that's how I am around people.
Yeah.
Because that's not who I am.
Interesting.
It just took a little bit to kind of figure that out.
Are you introverted or extroverted? Or are you a combination?
I would say I'm a combination of both.
What's your preference?
It's being challenged all the time right now.
Okay. So you're fluid.
Yeah, there are moments where I would really like to just be with myself.
Yeah.
And then there are times where, even though there's an apprehension to go to an event or to go meet people, when I'm in it and it's the right people,
Yeah.
my tank is filled. I come out of it super inspired and ready to just hit whatever's next.
Wow.
If it's the wrong people and they're coming at it from a place of trying to convince you or sell you, I'm out.
Yeah.
I am not interested in that conversation. It is the worst conversation to be in, I think, for anybody.
Yeah.
There's no possibility there. There's no connection being created. It's like, man, this guy's got me in a corner and he's trying to strong arm me into buying his service or product. It's horrible.
Yeah.
That's part of what we are up to changing, and have been up to changing for as long as I've been in this business.
So what is it that you love about brands? And it can be building a brand, pivoting a brand, reimagining a brand. You're a brand alchemist. What does it mean to you, and why are you so fired up about it?
I love the idea of being able to change an idea or a philosophy or a point of view by showing up in the marketplace in a certain light, in a certain way.
Okay.
To begin to challenge said notion, and to get that there is control at the beginning of that, to channel that. Right. To actually have that notion be challenged because that was what you intended at the very beginning.
Right.
Versus running into a marketplace and everybody screaming the same tone. That was done 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Okay. At that point, we're done. We're tapped out. We need something else. Right. Yeah. So that's the opportunity to own that there is something deep inside of each of us, deep inside of me, that's really up to wanting to do something, to change something, to make a difference, to rock the boat, and to now overcome the fears that stand in our way to prevent that from happening. That is the opportunity for brand I see in this world, in this new world.
That's cool. So what sort of clients do you look to work with? I mean, I think it's fairly self-evident with what you just said, but...
For sure. You know, we're full-time unicorn hunters. That's how I like to describe it.
I love your brand already so much.
So we're on the look for the unicorns, and they're not very easy to find, and they're the ones who are quietly building and creating and already disrupting on a small scale and are looking for support to take it to the next level.
Nice.
It's not easy to find those guys. There's actually a lot of horses looking like unicorns.
Right.
So having to pull the masks off of people to go and call them on their bullshit.
Right.
That's not actually what you're up to. And maybe there's an opportunity where there is actually a unicorn in hiding.
Right.
And sometimes
he's disguised
it's not.
as a horse.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they get to own. There's an opportunity for us to guide them through a process where they get to look at and make a choice to own that thing that they say needs to happen in the world.
Right.
And some do and some don't.
So brand is truth.
Yep.
Is the new version.
That's right.
And what is it that you guys do there? Like, give me a. Are you guys like a full service agency? Do you just specialize?
We're really working on specializing. So we're
niching down to.
Absolutely.
Cool.
I've been in the creative game for a very long time, and I lack motivation in continuing to do the design aspect of that world of marketing.
Interesting.
There's something that doesn't fill my tank anymore around it. And what we uncovered, and especially in the last couple of years, is this deep dive work that we do with our clients to help them true themselves up and to see what it is that they have the opportunity to own.
Right.
Like that is so profoundly theirs, that fills their tank, and they're just like out there running with their flag and screaming, you know, top of their lungs that this is who they are and this is what they're up to.
Flag fly.
Absolutely. Yeah. We are really good at uncovering what that is, and that's where we want to play. So we are, and then there's a necessary component that comes after that, and that is to ensure that they maintain their course.
Right.
So we are brand stewards.
Okay.
We see the need for, as the roadmap gets created, to keep them on their path.
Right.
We are overwhelmed with shiny objects and opportunities and things to experiment, and so we get constantly pulled off of our path when we don't even realize it.
Yeah.
We actually think that doing that thing is aligned with what we're up to, and then we get to come in and say, yes, it is, or no, it isn't.
Right.
And because we've done such deep work at the beginning, there isn't a make wrong that happens. We reference the source document we create, that point of reference, that Bible, if we were to use that term.
Does the Bible get modified as you go?
I actually don't want to use that word. So it's a source document.
Source document.
The Bible is a bit loaded, and I was using that as a bit of a play on. But the source document.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I'm so...
No, I just got super triggered by it. I'm like,
fun.
I don't want to be associated with...
It's fun that you recognize that. Because
ironically, brand is truth, and the construct of truth, that comes from deep down, like as a witness, we used to speak about the truth.
Interesting.
At such a matter of fact way of being,
right.
You know. So that part, the fact that it came in is interesting for me. Kind of came around full circle, but just in a different lens. Yeah.
To start there, be here, be able to look back. I love the fact that you got triggered by the word Bible. I think that's kick-ass, and that you recognized it too.
Yeah, and not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just
no, but
it's not how I want to associate it.
Right.
Yeah.
I get that. And like, so I'm an atheist.
Right.
Yeah, I always have been. I got kicked out of Sunday school when I was like 4. Never invited back. So that to me, like Bible, like I use that as my word for things that are, it's written and doesn't change.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Uncompromising.
That's all I know about it, you know, whereas yourself, you have different connotation, which is cool.
And the minute a conversation around religion comes up in groups, I shut down.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm not even interested at an intellectual or philosophical level to engage in that conversation. Maybe I want to, I'm unable to. Like there's something deep inside that says, nope, no, we're done with this conversation. It's interesting.
Yeah, well, I think that's cool. What I think is really cool about that is that you recognize it in yourself. I end up meeting, I meet a lot of people, and the people I gravitate towards are the people that can look inside and be honest with the shit that triggers them, the stuff that pops up and goes, oh shit, I didn't know that was a thing. Now it's a thing. Yeah. So I appreciate your self-knowledge, your self-awareness.
There's been a lot of work done on that front, introspection and personal development, and it really only came to a head when I came back from Vancouver.
Interesting.
Which has been almost 5 years ago now.
Yeah. Do you miss it?
I miss aspects of Vancouver. Yeah. I love Calgary.
Yeah.
I think there is so much possibility here. The culture here is one of possibility and openness. We've got our issues in some cultural, caveats and whatnot, and all cities and. But we all deal with similar things. But as a whole, this city has been part of my recovery, I would say. Yeah. Ironically, given the fact that I had to go to Vancouver to find my way, that I actually found my way when I came back.
Yeah. Man, I couldn't agree more. I came back to Calgary after raising my kids in Okotoks 5 years ago.
Right.
And as soon as I got back to Calgary, everything started to click again.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
There's something about the water here.
Yeah, I don't know what
maybe the beer, the variety.
Local craft brewing.
There's something in the hops and
it's a Common Crown.
Yeah, right.
It's a Common Crown blonde
Buy some
ale.
at your nearest liquor store.
That's right. What's your favorite part of your day? Like, what do you love about the shit you do?
Dude, I love that question. My favorite part of the day is my morning.
Okay.
So I'm an early bird. I work to wake up between 4:30 and 5.
Wow.
And I create that time from 4:30 if I've had a really good sleep. It's typically 5 o'clock. So 4:30, I'm on fire if that happens. So from 5 until about 7:30 is my workshop time. My personal workshop time. Oh. So meditation is part of my practice. Yeah. I'm getting better and better and better at being with myself and all the beauty that is the craziness in my mind. Yeah. And working to calm that for a time to get grounded and create intention for the day moving forward. So I'll do my meditation. I do some journaling. I work on my poetry and explore some side projects, right? The GYST, which is elevating to the GYST life. It's no longer a podcast. Yeah. And I'm excited about doing that, knowing that time's available for me to just create. So while I don't create actively as a designer anymore in Photoshop and Illustrator and moving pixels around, I create every day.
Cool.
They just happen to show up in very different forms now.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Huh. I'm super inspired. My day, inspired action shows up when I'm actually doing that work. Huh. So now those things that occur as a bit dreary and like kind of dragging my knuckles along the floor kind of thing. I'm not very excited about it. Yeah. Are actually exciting because I've filled my tank before. Yeah. Where I can get through it really easily.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What are your feelings on happy accidents?
Happy accidents.
Yeah. So those things that just sort of show up out of the blue. You're like, you didn't see them coming, but they're almost like weird little gifts that just show up in your world.
I don't see them as accidents.
Okay.
Yeah. I see them as I got to create that. Like I was responsible for that. happening.
So you would either attracted it or you actually, all of it just happened.
Yeah, it really takes something to get yourself out of your own way to create the thing that I'm up to in the world.
So serendipity is manifest by yourself.
Manifest by myself and by the things that I do.
Interesting.
The things that I do that I know intuitively will move it forward.
Cool.
And sometimes I don't know what it is, but I'll listen to when it shows up.
Right.
And I'm going to be honest, it's a muscle that I'm still learning how to flex.
Sure.
And so I would say 8 times out of 10, I don't notice it.
Interesting.
So when it does show up, it kind of has to hit me over the head a little bit. You know, it's whatever.
Coconut out of the tree.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The apple, Newton. But like, aha, that was it. So it's part of my daily practice of just being more mindful of when it shows up, because they're very subtle.
Yeah.
That little opportunity, that path that was presented that you get to take, that would really make a difference for you, goes by like that.
Yeah.
Like you don't even realize that it just came and went, and off you go, just running autopilot and doing your thing.
Yeah. Huh. Why did you start the GYST? Let me segue a little.
The GYST actually was an idea that my wife started.
Okay. And
didn't follow through with it. And it was a project that she had taken on inside of one of the personal development programs we took called Landmark.
Okay.
And
I had a friend that was big into that.
Yeah, you gotta. It's a funny little place that you gotta be careful, because you can get. It can remove accountability in your life, because it is what has your life be meaningful versus creating meaning in your life with the tools that you got out of it.
Interesting. Yeah, you'd have to be careful with it. I think I went to a Landmark meeting where it was almost cultish.
That would be the initial impression. You know, it's super funny, not to segue too much. Let's put a pin in the GYST. But totally. My first introduction to Landmark was through a gentleman who was a mentor, still is a mentor. His name's Adam Joyce. And was one of the first people that I met coming back here to Calgary. Huh. And the guy was larger than life.
Yeah.
Like, whenever you would talk to Adam Joyce, he should be on the podcast, actually.
Hook me up.
I will. Whenever you talk to Adam Joyce, he's one of those guys that is just so contagious in his energy, and you're wondering, like, what are you drinking? Because I want some of it. Like, I want some of what you got.
Yeah.
And that was the reaction that I had at the very beginning. And he gave me some of it. He's like, well, if you want to explore it, come check this out.
Yeah.
And when I went to my first one, it was an introduction, and I went to another room. It was at the Blackfoot Inn, and there was a small handful of people.
Yeah, yeah.
It was, I had no idea what I was dealing with, what I was about to experience. No context for anything. Yeah. I just knew Adam, and I knew who he was and what he was up to, and I'm like, I just want some of that. So okay, I'm in.
Cool.
And then it showed up. You know, our meaning-making machine, the ego, the whatever it is that has you judge and assess and evaluate and kill dreams. And so I had it in this small group of people that the lady beside me was planted. It was planted to encourage me and entice me into taking the program.
Right.
It's fucking ridiculous, because she was there like I was, brand new, never heard of it before. But the story that I created was, this is weird. These people are weird. And this lady's planted to try and convince me to take the program.
Right.
And then something kind of happened when the price, you know, you have to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden our walls go up, oh, I got to pay for this? Like, what weird shit is this?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Do you go to an Apple store and walk out with product, or do you pay for it as well?
Right.
It's the same thing. We just got stupid stories around it. And so at that point, it's like, all right, I'm here of my own free will because of this guy that I'm inspired by, that I really like how he shows up. And now I'm making this big deal about this thing. Shut up, Dave, and just buy the thing and take the program, right? Take the lesson. And I ended up completing the program in like back to back.
Yeah.
Forum, advanced program, self-expression leadership program, coached it, the self-expression leadership program, and got a whole lot of value out of it. Actually met Vern, my partner in crime at the GYST, right? Magic happens when you get out of your own way. And that's my biggest takeaway.
Interesting.
on any of those programs, because there's a whole bunch of them out there.
Sure.
Get out of your own way,
Right.
because it's there to show you something that you don't even realize is a thing you need to look at yet.
Right.
So to segue back into the GYST,
Yeah.
it was Maya's idea at the last leg of their curriculum, which is a self-expression leadership program. They get you to take on a project to do, and it was this thing. It wasn't necessarily a podcast. It was some sort of, I don't know what you would call it, just like a medium to communicate, video series, video log, or something to that effect.
And it's an acronym.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes. It is all about getting your shit together.
Interesting.
Yes. And Maya didn't really didn't do much with it. And it was an idea that the three of us started to percolate around and try and figure something out right at the beginning stages.
Yeah.
We even have some video of us doing some initial sessions. So one thing that you'll know about me is I tend to document everything.
I noticed that when you set up the camera.
Yeah, I set up a camera here. And most of it doesn't see the light of day.
Yeah.
But I feel like there is something about that action, that process, that's truly magical.
Yeah.
I haven't quite figured it out yet, but I know it's there.
It's there. Yeah.
And this is probably that piece, because now I can reference back to that one of those very first videos, the series of videos that we took that kind of landed flat on its face a little bit, but was the catalyst for Vern and I to begin to take this on and expand on it.
And what is your interest in? Because I mean, you do deep dives on yourself. You do
With everybody.
like,
yeah, man.
It's
surgery.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's sometimes it's meatball surgery. Sometimes it's very delicate and
Yeah.
And careful and considerate. But I mean, the reality is that you're going in.
Oh man, and we just dive in. We really are. We remove all considerations and just take a breath.
Yeah.
And go in.
Crazy.
With whatever it is that we're grappling with and dealing with.
Yeah.
Because the reality is we're all dealing with so much stuff on an ongoing basis, whether you're an entrepreneur or not.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. This is for everybody. And this is actually what had it start to elevate. So we've been doing this podcast for a little over a year.
31 episodes in.
31 episodes.
Awesome.
Yeah, we've been having... We had some checks along the way.
Yeah.
It started to turn into something that occurred like work.
Oh.
And we're like, whoa. And we did it on the podcast. Like, okay, so there's this thing that's going on that I don't want to fucking do this anymore. Like, it's
Right.
occurring as work. And so we pulled that apart.
Cool.
And we got revitalized around the idea around what it is that we're up to here.
Yeah, cool.
And got reinvigorated. And so momentum was created again, and we keep going.
Oh, that's wild. What hosting service do you use?
We use Podbean.
Okay.
It was the one that was there. We had no idea really which one to choose. It turns out to be one of the better ones.
Yeah. What are the top 3, do you think? Top 2 even.
I would say so. Podbean, Stitcher, and the one you're on, Libsyn. Yeah. I would say they're good benchmarks to start the process, and then you get to syndicate across all platforms, anyways, right? So you just need that home base.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, and so checking out your website, you've got like people you follow on the side. You've got people that follow you on this. Like you've got a whole social thing happening where you're
in terms of the GYST.
Yeah.
Well, and that's just the default. We haven't done anything with that.
Interesting.
So in full disclosure, we haven't done anything with that. It was just a platform to hold the episodes.
Gotcha.
And then we're working on doing a YouTube channel
Yeah.
where I think we're at 50 subscribers, which is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
And we got to get to that 100 subscriber mark so that we can do our vanity URL and have all that fun stuff happen.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's put it out there.
Yeah.
Go give them the thing.
Well,
How do they
the
find you on
best
YouTube?
access point would be to go to Facebook/The GYST, no spaces.
GYST. Yeah.
GYST. That's where our main point of communication is right now. We're actually, so we've gone through, Vern and I have gone through one of Rivet's or Brandis Truth's leaner brand building exercises.
Nice.
And so we turned the lens inward and evaluated ourselves and looked
tough to
at
do.
it. Is so hard. What is it about this that we want? Where do we want to take this?
Yeah.
Like, what is it? So the GYST Life is our next iteration of it, We're gonna put a website together.
Cool.
The GYST.life it's incoming, and it is all about creating an environment where people figure out what it takes to live a life that they love to live on their terms.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? And so podcast is one medium. Like I see this as a media company almost.
Totally. Yeah.
All sorts of channels, all sorts of people. I got some crazy cool cats that if they were just given a little bit of airtime,
Yeah.
to start to flex their own muscles because they've never done it before.
Right. Don't know how
And
to
they'd
do
be
it.
dropping some mad wisdom on people.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're looking to create here.
Awesome.
So it's a platform for community, really, and to empower community, but differently. Like really looking at how do we disrupt the typical notion of how we understand community to operate.
Yeah. Weird little side question. What's your feeling on these new domain extensions?
I think they're super cool.
Okay.
Some of them are super weird. Yeah. And I think you just
can't
get to
wrap
have
my
some
head
fun.
around it. It's so weird.
You have to be careful with them because they can be a bit weird. A prime example, we did the exploration. You know, what domain do we want to use?
Yeah.
And .rocks was one of them that came up. I'm like,
What?
the GYST.rocks. And Vern's like, yeah, that's a bit cheesy. Like,
So,
okay,
and
maybe.
what's the pricing on those? Because I've never
It's
looked
like
at-
$60.
Yeah, okay, so a little bit more. Like I've had a .pro before, which I thought was super cool.
Yeah.
But
you just got to be careful there, right? There's still power in .com. Obviously, there's brand equity inside of the familiarity of a .com.
Sure.
And it's pretty busy, right? You don't have as much available, so that starts to open up.
It's like real estate.
Exactly.
They're not making it anymore.
So I'm open if you do it elegantly.
Yeah.
And not like over the head kind of caveman like.
I told you earlier I was hosting this thing at the Stampede, and in the Big Four they had the largest selection of local craft beer, which is how I got to know Common Crown.
Common Crown.
Common Crown.
I love the blonde ale. It's really tasty.
It was so good. Anyway, so it was put on by the Alberta Small Brewers Association, and their website is alberta.beer.
Oh,
and I'm like,
perfect.
Fuck me, this is amazing.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's really thinking outside the box. Forgive the pun and cliche, but the reality is you can pigeonhole yourself inside of it, or you can own it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's owning beer.
Right. And I'm totally blown away that was a domain extension. I had no clue. And I'm in this world a lot, but it's just one of those things.
There's
like,
so many. I don't know if there's a single place that consolidates all of them to know like what the playground is. I have no idea.
That would be
maybe somebody out there knows.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll hunt for it. What do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? So I am a proud father of twin 6-year-olds.
Oh my goodness.
So they keep us pretty busy. Now, what's really cool about twins is they keep themselves busy as well.
Right.
Which, for all those single child families out there, I really feel for you.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a na kind of thing, because while it was hard at the initial 1-2 year mark, it got super easy after that.
Right on.
So really cool. So they keep me pretty occupied.
What sort of things are they into right now? What are 6-year-olds? Minecraft. Oh.
They're just so. I had to kill it for the week, like during the week, only on the weekends, because my little boy would be up. He's up like me, super early, and he's on the device. Wow. Yeah, that doesn't work.
So you have a boy and a girl?
Boy and a girl.
Cool.
Yeah, and they both love it. They play it together. So they build these worlds together. It's really cool. I in terms of a really great, well executed game that encourages creativity. Minecraft is.
Yeah,
I can't stand it.
Yeah.
Like I have the attention span of a gnat inside of that game. I need something much more stimulating than that. And that's part of what I do as well as a hobby. So I'm a casual closet gamer. I actually tried setting up a gaming channel with a couple of my buddies in Vancouver, but they're so non-committal. It's super hard to take that stuff on and really move it forward if you don't have community.
Totally.
If there's community missing, it can become a drudgery.
Yeah.
And
it's like Neebs Gaming. Like I love those guys, and they've built this super cool network, and they do cool shit.
Who's that? Neebs?
Neebs.
Are they local or something? Or?
Oh no.
I've never heard of them.
Oh, you got to check them out. Neebs Gaming.
Yeah, I will.
EEBS, and they do lots of walkthroughs. Like I've got a couple different systems here. I've got an old N64. I've got a Wii in the other room to play Mario Kart, and I've got the PS4. And I got into oh shit, what's it called now? Brain fart.
Is that what it's called?
Fallout.
Oh yeah. Who was telling me about that? Somebody else was telling me about that. Oh man. So they were saying that it's just a really great game to get into. Oh right, Scott.
You lose yourself in it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm 40 hours in, and I haven't even scratched the surface.
Well, some of the games that I played and still play, frequency depending, is Dark Souls. So I don't know if you've heard of that.
No, are you PS or are you Xbox?
I'm PS. You're funny. PC.
Yeah. No, what was I? PS. PlayStation.
Oh,
PS.
I heard it as
the
wrong acronym.
Are you console or are you PC?
I'm PC right now.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I do want to get a console so that I can play more with my kids.
Yeah.
But games that I want to play.
And they got some super cool
VR
shit.
Yeah, dude. Oh, so that's another thing that I do. My Patrick, my youngest brother, he's big into IT and tech in general, and introduced me to VR. And so we go to some of the VR arcades in town.
VRcade is one of my clients.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do some awesome stuff. We have a lot of fun playing those games.
Oh, that's rad. Have you done Quiver? Like where you're...
Yes. You know what we did? There was one evening, so there was me, Vern and his brother-in-law and Patrick, and we went there, and it was later in the evening, and Patrick liked the game but didn't like the music. He's like, I just don't want to play the game unless I can do some different music. And DJ, right, like our master DJ, if you will, changed the tunes for us. So we had Lord of the Rings theme music playing as we're like knocking the hordes back. It was epic. It was an epic game. I had so much fun.
Time flies in that world, and really you are just drenched after.
And drained.
Yeah,
like the amount of attention that you pay and focus that you pay.
Yeah,
you got to be careful in those spaces.
I love it because it has gotten to the point where it's no longer like there's no gap for me. I'm in that world.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like there's no.
Did you ever play the Arizona Sunshine?
Yeah.
Oh man. So just so anybody who's listening, it's a zombie game. And have you ever played it with somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah, that part was super entertaining. Yeah. Playing it with someone in the campaign and dealing with hordes of zombies.
Oh, that's nuts.
It was awesome.
And I had the worst time trying to reload my weapon.
Dude, dropping your clip.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I'm out of ammo. You're like all around your feet is all of your clips. Like, well, yeah, because you keep unloading your weapon. Yeah, that was quite the learning curve.
There's another one, I forget what it's called, but you're flying and you're basically flying over a pyramid. And it's
it's like a player versus player type thing. You change your weapons out and stuff.
You stay, like your attitude is straight up and down, but you can fly, like jetpack around. You can
and you can accelerate and
fuck.
That's the what's the word I'm looking for? Vertigo that you get inside of the game. Yeah. When you are propelling yourself forward, you feel like you're gonna fall over.
Oh yeah.
It's super bizarre.
Yeah, and you can spin down, and it's crazy.
The next thing that I'm really looking forward to, and we had it touched on by one of the futurists that used to be a Disney Imagineer.
Oh,
I can't remember his name now. He was at the Communo Summit. Which, are you a Communo member yet?
No.
You should be looking into that. Have you talked to Patrick Orr yet?
Patrick Lore?
Orr.
Oh, no.
Okay, so I'll bridge an intro there. That's part of the community of agencies and creatives that we're a part of on a bigger scale. Yeah, it allows us to niche where we want to play.
Awesome.
So we tap into everybody else's strengths and we get to play where we want to play.
Awesome.
So yeah, definitely something to check out. They had a summit. They have a summit every year. Yeah. It was a full day thing, and they had this guy from Disney coming out. And talked about, so he's a futurist, he's not an Imagineer anymore, and he talked about the future of technology and where things are going, and the bridge between AI and human being, mankind, and what that looks like for the future, AR and how immersive our worlds are going to be. It's inevitable. And it isn't like to the extreme, the dystopian
Right. It certainly
worlds.
can go that
It can,
way, but
and it won't go like that either, right? So we're super good at this as storytellers. We can go one way or the other.
Sure.
And there was a Netflix series. It was very, very dystopian, high tech. Can't remember it anymore, but I loved it. I thought it was a really great series, and it painted the worst picture.
Right.
You know, everybody's consciousness is on a disc, and
oh yeah.
what was that called?
Oh shit! I just watched that, and they put it in the back of their neck, and then
you can transfer it to other bodies and clones, and
like I will find it. I'll put the link in the podcast.
It's a really great series,
and there's lots of nudity.
Lots of nudity, yes. Be warned, and so there's that world, but what was cool about that world was you got to see the integration. Right. So contact lenses that have you completely interactive and engaging with your environment and things of that nature. That's up and coming. It's not coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, the next 100 years.
No, well, I think it's faster than that. I went and saw a talk on AR and VR, and like it's really it's here in a lot of ways.
It is here.
You know, I went and so I got just give you a quick little story. I was in this play like for Calgary Fringe, and it was around the time that Pokemon.
The Pokemon Go
came out.
Yeah.
So we were rehearsing in Eau Claire, and I'd walk out every day, and there'd be people, like I'm talking like hordes, waiting for a Pokemon to come by.
Isn't that crazy?
Right. And I was like, holy shit, that is so cool. I saw people, and I talked to some people that were out that you wouldn't normally see out. Like they were, this one couple was very large. And we ended up talking just about random shit. And they're just like, we didn't get out until we had this to do together. I'm like, holy shit, that's cool.
Fair enough. And, right? Like, what's possible?
Yeah. So anyway, I'm just like, So, you know, a week goes by and I finally decide, well, fuck it, I'm going to download Pokemon Go. So, you know, I come out of Eau Claire, I catch myself a Charizard or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, it's kind of cool. Like, because you're looking through the camera, you can see it and you throw the ball, blah, blah, blah. The next day, I woke up and I checked my phone and I'm just like, wonder if there's any fucking Pokemon around. Because, I don't know, I would like totally engaged until I saw a Squirtle at the end of my bed. And I was like, no.
Oh my God, this is creepy.
No, just no. So I was like, I deleted it and I never looked back, but holy.
Oh my God, that just like.
It was weird.
It's in. Yeah. It's in your world.
Yeah.
Like literally in your home.
Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea. I never ever played that game.
It blew me away. And I'm just like, and I'd heard all sorts of weird things about, it's just cataloging what it sees. Because you're doing a feed.
You know what they were talking about, the Rhombus?
The Roomba?
The room, like the vacuum cleaner?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Roomba.
The Roomba? Yeah. They have technology inside of the Roomba that calculates square footage of homes.
Yeah.
And not necessarily what's inside the home, but the sizes of homes. That's going to headquarters.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do with that information, but be warned.
They've got a little microphone.
They're watching you and listening.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Give me you're an entrepreneur.
Yep.
You're a visionary. You're a goddamn brand alchemist.
I'm a goddamn brand alchemist.
You're a digital fucking Jedi. What are the, I don't know, it doesn't have to be any number of things, but what's kind of the top thing that you'd tell somebody who's thinking about this career?
To get into this work?
Yeah, to take this journey, to be an entrepreneur of any sort.
The game of entrepreneur, for me, is really starting to catalyze now, after 15 years in.
Yeah.
And it is an adventure. So... and you get to create your own adventure. Remember those books?
Oh, you create your own. Yeah, go to page 7.
That's right.
Yeah.
I used to keep my finger just to make sure I didn't make the right call. Anyways, you get to create your own adventure. You get to create your world, and the thing that fills your tank and keeps you going, and it's on your terms.
Yeah.
That part is super awesome about entrepreneurship. And it really takes something. It is a grueling uphill hike up a mountain with like a ton of rocks on your back.
Yeah.
It can occur like that sometimes.
Sure.
And it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
So it's a weird paradox.
Yeah.
There are days where I'm like, I'm out. I've had it with this shit. I don't know why I'm still doing this. And the next day I'm like, fuck, I love my life.
Right.
And it's going to happen, I feel, regardless of what you take on, right?
Sure.
There's going to be your ups and your downs. And here, you get to create what your life looks like on all fronts.
Nice.
So I recommend it, and it's not for everybody.
Right.
That part I'm really clear on. I have the grit and the tenacity and the willingness to like push through. That's what it takes. And some people are really good at supporting.
Yeah.
So they could be part of a startup, of an entrepreneur game, but they're not leading out in it.
Right. And they want a salary. They like to have
Yeah.
benefits.
And maybe there is a little bit of unpredictability inside of that they're open to.
Yeah.
At least kind of dipping their toe in the water, as it were.
watching cautionary tales sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, wow, I definitely don't want to do that. So you get to ride on the coattails of others doing that. And I think that's a really great opportunity to kind of test it out. Don't quit your job and run the entrepreneur gig until you've got with all certainty that this is something that you really see yourself investing all of your time into. It's like having a kid.
Yeah.
For those that don't have kids, can't relate. I really don't know what the metaphor is for someone who doesn't have kids. A dog. Yeah, that's a great example. You're just in. You're all in, and it doesn't matter if it shits on the floor or does a hairball. You know, like
gotta deal with it.
You don't kick it out the door.
Yeah.
You clean it up and you just make arrangements so that doesn't happen again, right?
Right.
So I encourage it. I feel like we are in the world. Our world right now is all about creating your own dreams, and not necessarily the way it used to be back when our parents were our age,
Right.
and supporting the up and coming industrial revolution of our society. Like we're past that now.
Yeah.
We got AI doing all of our tedious work. I had an email sent by a partner, like a fellow creative, they wanted to set up a meeting with a potential client, and it was his AI guy, Andrew was his name, through email that took over the scheduling of the appointment. It was super weird. Like he said it right out front, is like, this is I'm testing out this AI, and he's going to schedule our appointment.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm down.
Yeah.
What if my AI and your AI were doing that work, and then I didn't have to fucking worry about scheduling this shit?
Right.
What would that look like?
Yeah.
So it's here, and I can't remember what my point was, but just play, like try something, you know, like dig in.
Last question. What band should people be listening to right now?
What band? Oh man. That is a really confronting question for me.
Yes. All the hard-hitting questions right here.
Who'd have thought it?
On the RebelRebel podcast.
Okay, so I don't know if it's something that you should be listening to right now.
Okay.
But it is something that I listen to often. And given my current interest in slam poetry and spoken word and all that whole world, A Tribe Called Quest is one of those iconic hip hop bands.
Yeah.
Do you call them a band?
Yeah. The groups.
Hip hop groups.
Sure.
That are just, the music is just so good. Like you just move your head to it. You can't help but move your head to it. Really great stuff. So if you've never listened to A Tribe Called Quest,
that is
you should do that.
Solid recommendation.
Awesome. I passed.
All right. That is the time that we have. Thanks so much for coming and having a beer and telling me your shit, man. It's one of the funnest ones yet. Coming up next week, we've got Ryan Hanetka from the App Guys. He's going to share his adventures about running an insanely successful application development company, his time as a cop in Canada, creating a world-changing app, playing golf, and so much more. Check out next week's episode, Rebel Rebel, every Monday.